will do me a favor. If you end up in the water, please stand up and walk out. You jumped in anyway. It's about 3 feet deep. All right.
No. The violin or the piano to the movie. And that's still theater till this day. It's a performing arts theater now.
Cả nhà chơi vui vẻ.
Ai đây là một chuyến xong.
Anh ơi, anh ơi.
Ai ngồi đi chứ.
Tìm miếng ngồi đây.
Hả?
Đứng lại đây là anh Trần.
Nó cho đứng mà.
It's not very
Tôi đứng hả?
Không biết nữa.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
Maybe the one in Vegas is Santanio này. Santanio.
We asked her that.
Tình huống cho lái vào xe anh nhá. Bộ chứ còn là bộ chứ lái vào xe. Xuân Kiều nhá, Xuân Kiều mình cho lái vào xe.
Hai chanh ơi.
Cho chưa đấy.
Maybe actually
Rất là xa Antonio.
Xin chào.
Nói xong 1%.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. So first things first, welcome aboard. My name is Mary Jane. I'm going to be your boat captain for the next 30 minutes or so. I do have a few rules that we have to go over. Rule number 1, there is no standing on the boat. A lot of the bridges are very low, so I don't want you to hit your head on anything.
Good job.
Rule number 2, Duncan, please keep all arms, feet, and other limbs inside of the boat. We're going to get very close to the bridges, to the walls, and to the other boats. And rule number 3, there is no smoking or vaping or any other type of tobacco use on the boat. And that's pretty much it. So with that being said, let's begin. Right in front of us here, this little footbridge might look familiar to some of y'all. If you've ever seen the 1997 movie Selena starring Jennifer Lopez, this bridge was featured in the movie. Of course, in the movie, this is where Jennifer Lopez was on the bridge and did her famous kissing scene. But in real life, this is where the real Selena Quintanilla, Chris Perez, got engaged. So now fans are just coming to stop foot traffic and also get engaged on the bridge almost every single day. And over here to our left is the Omni La Mansion. The Omni is where Jennifer Lopez stayed when she was filming the Selena movie. She stayed at the very top floor in the presidential suite. And of course, ever since then, the prices have gone up. The Omni opened up 15 years after the Battle of the Alamo at St. Mary's School for Boys. But in 1966, 2 alumni came back, bought the school, and turned the building into a luxury hotel just in time for the 1968 World Fair. Now, St. Mary's is a co-ed school and it's located on the far west side of town, known as St. Mary's University. Now, if everyone could do me a favor, look all the way up and to the left. All the way up and to the left. You're gonna see an optical illusion of a free standing wall.
Rất là đẹp.
Bạn thích phải cho lái xe.
Ai thích nước biển cho like 9 người cho một like nha. Có tay dài lên. Ai lên mày like rồi mày like. Quê đây.
Chưa đấy.
That was the next hospital. It opened up in 1930 and it was the first fully serviced and fully air-conditioned hospital in the nation. Unfortunately, it did close down in 2019, but it was quickly bought by the Marriott. So now in just a few years, that hospital is going to be a luxury hotel. But of course, not far from the usual things we have around here. You know, we're always turning hospitals into hotels. And more into restaurants, just like the one right underneath it.
Bro, that's all like
Right in front of us here, the building with all the windows. Regency Hotel. The Hyatt stands at 16-stories high. Because any higher, and it will cast a shadow over the Alamo that is right in front of it, which is forbidden, as the sun must rise and set on the Alamo every single day in honor of those spots. You can even go through the Hyatt even if you're not a guest there. If you ever do, you're going to see some cool water features, some beautiful plants. Keep going all the way through, and you'll end up right in front of the Alamo.
Why she look at that? Hi people.
Shop không kho này.
Wow, this girl looks so pretty.
Hey, tối mình ra đây được Tuấn nè.
Right next
Cái
to
đây
it
người nghe.
here
Ủa,
is
chị
the
biết cái đem
Cosby
tiền đó.
Dog.
Chị biết cái đem tiền đó.
They have some really good drinks so that you take to go, and they play live jazz music every single day.
Xin chào cả nhà nha. Mình xin chào Dương Thị nha. Xin chào mấy người gì đó. 5 người á. Vậy đó. Đó, advertise của nó nữa.
Bạn hãy thích hãy cho like share đi nha. Vâng. Xin chào mà bên kia lại sao ta thấy?
And over here to our right, just above the Texas, well, over here to our
Hãy
right,
cho like share
this
đi.
building used to be the Casino Club building. Of course, it had nothing to do with casinos, but brought two all-male societies together, and that's where they have their meetings. Now the bottom two floors is Saltgrass State House, but the rest of the building are the cheapest apartments on the Riverwalk. Now the only thing about these apartments is there's about a 16-year wait.
Cảm ơn nha.
Shopping này cũng có nè, bán đồ này.
And we are now in Restaurant Row.
Hả?
This is where the majority of our restaurants are. So if y'all are looking for something to eat after, feel free you want to come.
Đi ăn vào lên.
Over here to our left is Cafe Olay, and they're famously known for their seafood.
Cái đó mà hai mặt
That's
luôn hả?
right in your face.
360 độ.
Cà phê ở đây.
Cafe Olay. Làm mất hồn.
That's what it
No,
says.
360 độ.
Cafe Olay. Hi sisters, welcome back to my YouTube.
No.
Chỉ là trong hay là hai màn hình kéo đầu em.
Cancel. We don't want to cancel.
And over here to our right, just above the Texas flag umbrellas here, this corner office used to be Robert H.H. Hugman's office, the father of the Riverwalk. He moved his office down here after the 1922 flood, so his people would come back and have their businesses down here. Of course, trying to say the river is no longer going to flood. And his idea worked because over here to our right is Casa Rio.
Xuống đây mở điện mở có lý nha. Mở điện mở cái này có lý nha.
Đi chơi
Mở
vui
điện
à.
mở luôn à.
Mỗi lần mình đậu
So, of course, back then, when you would come down here for dinner, you would go on the ride for about 30 minutes or so. Come back, your table and your food will be
Cái này
ready.
set up được.
And when the city thought this was such a great idea, they actually got it off for them. And here we are today.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, mình xin chào Thảo Vân nha. Okay, okay, mọi người. Chào cả nhà nha.
Now, if you look to the left and on the street level, you're going to see a squiggly orange sculpture right up there. That is the Torch of Friendship. And it was a gift to us in 2002 by Mexico, saying even though we're not a part of Mexico anymore, we still stand on this term.
Cái này nó xài
Bro, did you see that lady? She's smiling. What did she say? Yes! She's like,
So we just exited the
Nó
all
nhiều
natural
chuyến,
part of
nó
the
nhiều
river.
cái tour.
We are now on the
Chứ không phải
back.
một mình của tour này bên này không, nhiều tour lắm á.
thanh
This section here has a
Nói chung
complete
Đây là
nhiều tàu
gái
xa.
thích của
Cái
nhà.
này nhiều cái location đó, nó ở rau nó khác.
So of course, completely concrete bottom. It is 4 feet to 5 feet deep, and it was built for the 1968 World's Fair. Of course, back in 1968, San Antonio was hosting its 250th birthday as a city, and what was supposed to be this small town's fair ended up becoming this huge World's Fair. This World's Fair was like a party, and everybody came down to San Antonio to celebrate our birthday with us. And this party was such a hit, it lasted 6 months long. So fun fact for you, on an average year, we have just a little bit over 100 people fall in the river every single year. But of course, with a 6-month-long party, you know, that was the year where the most people fell in the river, of course. I'll show you where I saw one on my last tour fall. But over here to our right, and in between these trees here, you're going to see the Tower of Americas, built for the 1960 World's Fair. It has a 750-foot observation deck, 952 steps, and every year on the anniversary of 9/11, firefighters come fully equipped and race to the top. Of course, these firefighters were doing this before they dedicated it to 9/11, and back in 1981, the fastest time going up was at 5 minutes and 18 seconds, and still to this day it has not been broken. But of course, it was a woman who broke this record, and no one has beaten it ever since. Now, if y'all want to go there after, you can. All you got to do is follow the river down that way. It's going to cost you the same price that you paid to get on the boat, same discounts too. They also recently refixed the elevators so they don't get stuck as much anymore, but y'all should be good. Over here to our right, y'all can get a better view of it.
What was the record the lady broke?
And over here to our right is another one of our locations. Our most famous one because of our frozen margaritas with Everclear in them. They even let you sample them out before you buy them. You can mix and match, add an extra shot. They do refills and we have different sizes. Now of course you know how Everclear works, don't take too many samples. I guarantee you're going to come out with some kind of Well, this location right here is pretty. Right in front of us here, this glass building is our world famous River Center Mall. Hence the name River Center. A river does flow through the center of it. The only thing is you can't see it from the inside, you can only see it from the outside. I'll show you here in just a little bit. For now, everyone sees the island here with the Christmas tree on it, right? Well, of course, every single year during Christmas time, when the city puts up the Christmas lights, the mall puts up this tree. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people actually don't even like this island. Mainly teenagers, of course. You know, they're always trying to get a good picture for social media, so they climb over the railing, stand on top of the pillars, try to jump off the island. Of course, 98% of the time, they fall in. The last time they cleaned the river, this area alone, almost 100 falls, not counting cameras, GoPros, and all that other good stuff. 94 to be exact. So, the last time we were supposed to clean the river was back in 2020, but of course the pandemic happened, so they pushed it back to next year in January. We also turned on the Christmas lights earlier this year, so who knows how many phones and cameras are there this time. And of course, inside the mall, we have over 100 retailers, not counting dining. We even have an IMAX theater, we have an AMC theater, we have an Aquatic Life Aquarium, we have a Dave & Buster's, and we have a Legoland, all right inside. And of course, every single day at the exact same time, ever since 1988, our IMAX shows a movie, even when no one's there. Can anyone guess what movie? I'll give you 2 honks if you guess it right. 1988. Let me give you a hint, it has to do with San Antonio. Yeah, the Battle of the Alamo. I heard 2 people say it. The Battle of the Alamo, Price of Freedom. Y'all get 2 honks.
mình quay dở dở lại nó trên lấy.
You're gonna see a statue of a man holding a baby. That is Saint Anthony de Padua, and he is the patron saint of lost items and small children. And he is who San Antonio and the river are named after. But of course, if you didn't know, San Antonio was named after the river because it was here first, of course. And he was a gift to us for the 1968 World's Fair by Portugal because St. Anthony lived back in the 12th century, was from Lisbon, Portugal. And fun fact for y'all, his real name wasn't even Anthony. It was Fernando. And if you want a boyfriend, all you gotta do is pray to him upside down. He'll bring you a boyfriend, guaranteed.
와. 리리 원천.
Well, it works, but if you're going to try it later, I highly recommend if you have a specific type. You kind of want to throw that in there. If you don't, we'll bring you one.
Để đừng có đẹp. Đẹp lát hai. Để rồi. Nó bị blur cái màn hình của con bị
And over here to our right and on the street level, you're going to see a church peeking through. Right up there. That is St. Joseph's German Catholic Church. Now it's German because it was built back in the 1800s when the majority of San Antonio spoke German. So of course they wanted their own place of worship in their native language, so they built theirs right down here. I don't know if any of y'all been on the street level where the mall is. If you have, you may have noticed that there's a church awkwardly in the middle of it. That's the one. Of course, every single year, the mall doubles and triples in money to buy out the church with a little air of worship. But of course, they say no because they still do practice to this day in English and in German. They even have an all-male choir that performs there once a month in German. Now, unfortunately, I do not know how to pronounce the name of this choir. It's in German. Now, everyone, we are in traffic.
I don't want to get busted.
So, 35 minutes.
16-minute video. That's not good.
Now I have another question for everyone. Is it anyone's birthday today?
Mine was 3 months ago.
When? Tomorrow or yesterday? Yesterday? Today?
She's not here with us.
Tomorrow. Who? Raise your hand for me. She said no. What's her name? Maddie. Okay, Maddie. How old is she going to be? She's going to be 12. So, tomorrow, right? It's going to be Maddie's birthday. So on the count of 3, we can all yell happy birthday, followed by a round of applause. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday! Do we have another birthday? I saw someone else raise their hand. Do we have anyone celebrating an anniversary? No? Engagement? A divorce? No? Do we have any military veterans, active military, first responders, or teachers aboard?
Teacher.
We have one. Can we give them a round of applause, please? Thank you for your service.
Like teachers, military people, veterans.
And right in front of us here and to the right is another one of our locations. Now this is our Historia location and this is where the stories all begin.
I thought it was my dress.
xây trên thế nào? Mấy xây trên chưa? Có chạm khác nữa.
If you look all the way up and to the left, you're gonna see the Tower Life building. Opened up in 1929 and it was originally called the Smith and Young building. So Smith and Young were very superstitious, so it's Palacio del Rio by Hilton. So, this building was built in record time at 202 working days with weekends and holidays off. So of course it was built so fast you can see the bottom 4 floors were built here on site, while the other rooms were built here in San Antonio, 5 miles away to be exact, on a different site. When they're done building each room, they furnished them. So each room was fully furnished, all the way from the bathtubs to the bed, to the lamps, and the Bible on the nightstand. Brought them back over here, lifted them up, and stacked them one on top of the other, just like Legos. That's why each room is in and out like that. And of course, it was built for the 1968 World's Fair. Right in front of us here is La Vita. La Vita is a little bit of English, and that's exactly what it is, as it was San Antonio's first neighborhood here. And it was also the site of Santa Ana's Cannon Line in the Battle of the Alamo. Now it's shops, dining, and bars, of course. If you want to come back and check it out. Not a lot of people know of the area because it's so far away from all the other bars and restaurants. Right in front of us here, y'all can get a good view of something like this.
Oh, that's fine.
And this little area here is our Arneson River Theater. To the left is the 800-person seating. To the right is the stage, of course. Behind the stage, there are 5 bronze bells. Those bells represent the 5 missions we have here in San Antonio. The middle one, representing the Alamo, our only mission downtown. This stage might also look familiar to some of y'all. If you've ever seen the 2000 movie, Miss Congeniality, starring Sandra Bullock, that is where she did her famous World Peace speech.
No, it's not.
And coming up to our right where this statue is. Now this statue here represents the first cattle drive we had here in Texas. But the building behind it is the Briscoe Western Art Museum. The Briscoe opened up in 2013. Inside they have Pancho Villa's last known saddle and Santa Ana ceremonial sword. Of course, before that, in 1968, it was the Harrodsburg Circus Museum. But in 1930, this was the first public library here downtown. It was said to be the tallest building because of all the stories.
Chân ngựa kìa.
Right in front of us here, you can see one of our 4 strong carriages. This is the foot. The little birds are about to go under. Looks very low.
Tuấn dẫn về lên xe lên ngồi á.
This is called a Rosetta's Bridge. Completely bolted together. There is no welding involved. And it was a gift to us all the way from Berlin, Connecticut. And over here to our right, this little island here is known as Marriage Island. It's called Marriage Island because the roots of this cypress tree shapes the island like a heart. Also because over 300 weddings happen here every single year and over 400 proposals a year. It's said to bring good luck dating back all the way to the Mexican Revolution. But this tunnel that we're about to go through is known as Lover's Tunnel. So if y'all are here with your significant other, go ahead and give them a kiss for good luck.
It's because my mom is a single mom.
I want to touch it.
Well, I'll go I kind of want to fall on Sophia's head. And actually, I don't want to say that. I'm like,
You want to do that? You want to do that?
what? Just take
And over here to our right, this building here is the West End Hotel. The West End opened up November 1999. Now when the Spurs play a home game, their opponent team stays at the top 2 floors, and their main lobby is furnished from a 17th century European castle. Everything has been refurbished and is still hanging up to this very day. But of course, if you look all the way up and to the left, you're gonna see the Tower Life Building. Opened up in 1929, and it was originally called the Smith & Young Building. So Smith & Young were very superstitious, so if you look all the way up there, you're going to see some gargoyles sticking out. Those are to protect the building. Now, has anyone seen the movie Ghostbusters? You know where the gargoyles come to life? Anyone?
They said they have.
Yes. Well, unfortunately, that is not the building, but it looks like it, right? The real one is on Staten Island. But if you look right above the first floor here, you're going to see some scary, ugly-looking faces sticking out. These are called grotesque faces, and they were used to ward off bad business and evil spirits. But of course, they don't work. As a Smith & Young duo lost the building because of the Great Depression, what originally cost them $3 million in 1 year to build, they were forced to sell it in auction, and it was sold for $300,000. Less than 10% of what they bought it for. Now it does still operate to this day as law firms and insurance companies. So if you ever happen to need a lawyer, that is where you want to go. Right in front of us here, this red building is our Bexar County Courthouse. That is BEXAR. It is the largest, oldest, and continuously operating courthouse in Texas. Now, of course, this is where Selena Quintanilla and Chris Perez got married that same day that they got engaged on the bridge right there. But of course, if you look behind me here, it's the Tower Life building. You can see it kind of looks like a ship. Well, that's because architects were going for a Titanic theme, but for obvious reasons gave up on the Titanic and went with a regular old ship. Some say you can still even hear it honk.
It honks.
And we are now entering into the 14 to 25 feet deep of water. Yes, it's all natural. Back in 1922, there was a huge flood in the downtown area, above street levels under 9 feet of water. So from 1922 to 1924, the Army Corps of Engineers and the city of San Antonio worked on a flood control plan. So they put floodgates along the right side of the river here. If you look behind me, way back there, you're going to see a reflection of a red and a green light. That's a 15-foot drop, so on the tour we don't go that way. We even put these drain holes here on the wall so the water from the street level can also come down here. So when it starts to rain really hard, the floodgates will close. When they're all closed, we'll send the signal back to that one over there to lower just a few inches. So the water from here rushes down over there and eventually ends up in the Gulf of Mexico. Merry Christmas! Of course, back then, nobody believed that the flood control was going to work, so a lot of people left the downtown area, leaving it very lonely until the 40s. But it has worked and still does to this day, as we have the same one. And over here to our right is the Drury Plaza Hotel. The Drury opened up in 2007. So of course, before 2007, this area that we were in and that little area we just came out from, there was no sidewalk. So they built and donated the sidewalk to the city, and it cost them $1 million to do so. Of course, before that in the 30s, it was the Alamo National Bank building. They still have the same sign up in the front to this day. They even have the deposit box still there. Now, is anyone staying there by any chance? No? Good, it's on.
Trying to stop you.
Okay, right in front of us here, this really big tree. It's known as our Ben Malum tree. It's named after Ben Malum after he was shot by a sniper that was in this tree. This sniper shot him right in the head after he had gathered 300 volunteers to bring back with him. Of course, this sniper was actively trying to shoot anyone trying to cross the river. Anyone meaning any Texan. Also one of our oldest trees on the Riverwalk at over 350 years old, older than San Antonio itself. But it is said to be much, much older than that because that is a bald cypress tree. And once these trees reach 100 years old, the way that they grow slows down dramatically. So for all we know, it could be over 800 years old, but there's no definite
Gặp Việt Nam đã đấu mấy mất tiêu. Gặp Việt Nam đã đấu mất tiêu.
Who's that?
Lô cái cây 300 năm.
Ra, rồi là chắc
Cây này á.
xong rồi rồi.
I don't want to stand up.
And over here to our left and inside the hotel there, if you find some chandeliers, go ahead and give me a thumbs up so I know you found one. That's how high the flood got in 1922. That is the same building, of course. Now, does this look familiar to anyone? Yeah, that's where we started. Unfortunately, friends, this is the end of our tour. I do ask you to please stay seated as Docking the Boat can get a little bumpy. Also because any type of movement will shift the boat the other way. And y'all would eventually jerk away from me.
Xong rồi đó.
I'll give you a thumbs up when it is safe to get up and get off. For now, please stay seated.
Đúng rồi. Lên chưa đó?
Wait, where do you sit
Cho việc.
Soydora? Soydora. That's Thai. Angora. That's Thai. I think these pots are food. Are you speaking Spanish? I was